Welcome, brave souls, to a space where we explore the thrilling. It's not about fear for fear's sake, but about understanding the power of suspense, the art of the unexpected, and the way stories can tap into our deepest, most primal instincts. We'll look at how creators craft those moments that linger long after the screen goes dark, the subtle cues that build tension, and the psychological tricks that make a story truly unforgettable. It's a fascinating journey into the human psyche, and I'm so glad you're here to share it with me. Let's uncover the secrets behind those spine-tingling tales together. The wind that howls across the plains of County Offaly, Ireland, does not merely blow, it searches. It searches for the cracks in the stone, for the gaps in the floorboards, and for the hollow echoes of a history that refuses to be buried. Standing sentinel over this lonely landscape is Leap Castle, a fortress built not just of mortar and grit, but of blood, betrayal, and the lingering, suffocating weight of the past. To understand the hauntings of Leap, you must first understand the O'Carroll clan. In the 15th century, Leap was their stronghold. It was a place where politics were decided by the edge of a blade, and where hospitality was often a precursor to a shallow grave. The Bloody Chapel. If you stand today in the Bloody Chapel, the air grows heavy and the temperature drops with a sudden, biting intensity. It is said that in the 1500s, this room was the site of a fratricidal massacre. Two brothers of the O'Carroll clan, one a priest, the other a warrior, clashed for power. As the priest knelt before the altar mid-mass, the warrior burst in and plunged a sword into his brother's chest. The priest fell, dying upon the very stones where he had prayed. Visitors often report the sensation of being watched from the darkened corners, and some claim to see a faint, flickering light near the altar, a spectral candle held by a ghost who has not finished his final prayer. The oubliette, the stomach of the beast, perhaps the most terrifying feature of Leap. Castle is the oubliette, a dungeon located behind a wall in the chapel. The name comes from the French oublier, meaning to forget. It was a pit deep and dark, designed for one purpose, to ensure that those who fell inside were never seen again. When the castle was restored in the early 20th century, workers discovered the grim contents of the pit. They found a massive mound of human skeletons, layered with the remains of prisoners who had been dropped through the trapdoor to die in the darkness. To make the cleanup easier, the workers had to bring in 3 cartloads of bones. Even now, some say that the air in that section of the castle is thick with the residual terror of those forgotten souls, and an oppressive feeling of dread follows anyone who approaches the site of the pit. The elemental. But the O'Carroll's victims are not the only things that stalk the halls of Leap. There is something older, something darker, and something distinctly inhuman. Many residents and visitors over the decades have reported encountering the elemental. It is described not as a human spirit, but as a foul-smelling, decaying presence, roughly the size of a sheep, with 2 glowing black pits for eyes. It is said to appear suddenly, accompanied by the stench of rotting flesh and stagnant water. It does not speak, yet it radiates an ancient predatory malice. Those who have encountered it claim that it is not a ghost of a dead man, but a demonic entity that has been bound to the land, or perhaps to the castle itself, since long before the O'Carrolls laid their first foundation stone. The ladies in red. The ghosts of Leap are not all violent, though they are no less tragic. 2 sisters are frequently seen dressed in red, rushing through the halls as if fleeing from a nightmare. Legends suggest they were victims of the castle's turbulent history, captured during a raid and held against their will. They are often spotted near the stairs, their movements hurried and frantic, as if they are still searching for a way out of the stone fortress that became their tomb, a legacy of stone and spirit. Leap Castle remains a place where the barrier between the living and the dead is dangerously thin. It is not a place for the faint of heart. The sounds of heavy, unseen footsteps walking the corridors, the sudden slamming of heavy oak doors, And the disembodied voices that whisper in the dead of night are not merely stories. They are the rhythmic heartbeat of a house that refuses to forget. If you ever find yourself driving through the rugged hills of County Offaly, and you see the high, imposing silhouette of Leap Castle against the twilight sky, remember this: the stones may look solid, but they are porous. They have absorbed centuries of agony, and they are still holding it, waiting for the wind to carry the secrets of the O'Carroll clan to anyone brave enough or foolish enough to listen. Given the history of the various spirits said to inhabit Leap Castle, which of these accounts do you find the most unsettling? And would you be interested in learning about other famously haunted locations in Ireland?